Call this meeting to order at 4:31. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Amparano,
Here.
Councilmember Burnworth, Councilmember Tucker, Mayor Pro Tem Mendoza, absent, Mayor Obeso Martinez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment, any by email?
None.
None. Members of the public may address the city council only in the items listed on the agenda, either in person or by emailing the city clerk. Is there any public comment? Seeing none? All right, moving along. We're going to be working on A1, which is a budget workshop. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. If you don't mind, I can do it from here, sitting down
Wherever
instead
you
of
feel
in the
comfortable.
podium. Yeah. All right, yeah. So today we brought here the budget, the first version of the budget that we went through. I went through with all directors and managers to see their operational needs for next fiscal year. Taking into account that I asked for discretion and that we're not getting more revenue, so just keep it as the status quo, and if we can cut, then we'll reduce that budget. So before you'll have the presentation summary up in the screen, but the big packet that you have in front of you should give you a line item by line item detail, and it goes in the same order as the presentation will follow, so it's makes it a little bit easier to follow. I try to highlight the ones that had a variance, so it makes either good or bad, or they're increasing or decreasing in a significant amount. So I try to highlight that for you, so it just pops. If it's the same or no difference or minimal difference, it just I left the status quo, and we'll go from there. Since this is the initial revision, just to see if you have any questions, suggestions, or whatever you may have. So starting off, this is for general fund and enterprise fund. So all the major funds that we have for the city. Small. So here we have city hall departments, which include city council, city clerk, city attorney, city manager, admin, HR, and general services, which encompasses basically no personnel, but morely things that go to general, not one department, but the city hall as all department or non-specific to it. So for all departments, I'll start with the increases. So I'll give a brief explanation on the columns. So the first column is how we ended our actual expenses for last fiscal year. The two middle columns are the current year fiscal budget and the forecast based on trend and any foreseeable expenses that we may have. And the last column is the proposed budget. One thing I do want to make clear here, all salaries remain the same. So since we are in negotiations, so there's any discrepancies you may see is going to be strictly operational. All salaries, whatever we budget for current fiscal year, I have them budget for next fiscal year till negotiations are completed. So for City Hall, I'll go department by department actually. It's a little bit better. So first of all, we have City Council. City Council proposed budget is the same as last year. The only little bit of increase is the travel, as we may have new council members, so we expect a little bit more travel. Other than that, everything remains status quo. Next, we have city clerk. The budget did increase a little bit, even though we didn't spend, or expect spending this year. We are having elections, so we are forecasting for that, that will be the major change under that department. I'll just breeze to, since we don't have a lot of time, I'll breeze to his department, and feel free to anyone, directors or anything, to interrupt me, with any questions or, things that it may be out of line or something. City attorney. City attorney, it is a major, significant, increase. Current year, fiscal year budget is 120,000. Next year, projections 350 due to data center, services and Katie leaving us. So based on the initial feedback that I received, that's approximately number for, city attorney. So that's my expectation. I don't know if it's gonna be higher or lower.
Are those budgets correct based on, was that budget came up with the RFPs that we received, with the pricing of the
Yes.
RFPs that we received?
Yes. So that was, it was an average, since I didn't have which one or a specific one, just kind of did an average of what we received, correct?
Okay.
And as far as the professional services, and more like the services we have been paying, depending how long we're gonna keep going with the, data center, litigation.
So, where did you, that's not gonna, no. I mean, I'm looking at the attorney fees and just doing my, rough math in my head of what the new attorneys are gonna cost, and then what the current, like, the expenses we're gonna have. I don't think that's sufficient.
For
Attorneys.
both?
For both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll probably follow up with,
Yeah, we'll talk about it and go over what our estimate is with the outside attorney for the,
correct.
for that.
I did get some insight from Tommy, and see how much we've been spending, and the invoices I have been seeing, but I don't know if we're gonna be, how long it's gonna go. So
Yeah.
I'll probably then adjust those numbers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
Next, city manager, there's no major, let me see, where's my explanations? There's no major changes except for, again, contract services, basically paying for attorneys and consultants. Where did I leave her there? So, yeah. So yeah, there's not, right now we're paying, data center off of city manager and city attorney. We had that money there. So I know try to keep it the same, level. Right now, we're just following where we have the money, based on, the consultants online for next year. It should be around 250, and then I'll adjust the city attorney part then.
Okay.
Any questions for city attorney, for city manager?
No.
Okay. Admin services, there's basically no change for admin services. Keeping the status quo, trying to align to the current spending instead of, budgeted, so. It's pretty close with where we're gonna end up, what we ended last year, and that's for all departments, so they did, I appreciate for making an effort, trying to keep it as simple as possible. Next, HR. HR, from current budget 806 is going down to 738. Main one is a decrease on contract services. And that's, again, purely, speculation, because it depends on, investigations, city claims and all that. So based on how we're doing this year, we're a lot lower than last year. So I kind of hit it in the middle, but again, that's a number that we can't really have in hand, so I went with 240.
Is that the only thing like that was essentially like cut from their budget
For HR, yes. For, well,
for HR?
yes, that's strictly for HR.
We did take,
Or special events.
yeah.
It's in Micah.
So we did pool a little bit of funding from, we brought down testing services, training and education. We brought down from 10 to 5. We brought down special department from 45 to 40, just in, basing what we've spent this year and kind of how we project it for the following year, in an attempt to be responsible. So.
So again, those are things like testing. We don't know how much we're gonna have or anything else. So I forgot to highlight those. So testing and special departments, we decrease a little bit.
And I can let you know on the contract services, we were comfortable with going ahead with Victor's recommendation because in the past, one of the bigger projects was the class and comp study, and we don't have any fees related to that any longer. So we were comfortable with going ahead and decreasing it for this year and then kind of seeing how we do.
So I have a question, sorry. My question is, so like say, another department has like a workers' comp claim and that all comes out of HR's budget? It doesn't come out of the individual department's budget?
No, it goes through HR.
So the workers' comp, we have the insurance that we pay on a regular basis. When it comes to, and so that doesn't really hit our budget directly. It comes out of our.
So the workers' comp that we get charged, it goes to each individual department based on personnel and their expense. Whatever they're charging us, I divide it by group. So you'll see workers' comp, like for example, under Kristen, they only have 3 people there, so it kind of divide the charge. The actual investigation and attorneys and all that does go out of HR.
Why doesn't it come out the department's individual? I mean, I'm just thinking like, because when you constantly are having, certain departments with investigations, having to get attorneys and all of that, they don't realize the impact of that unless it's coming out of their department budget. I mean, is there a way that we could make it come out of a department's budget instead of HR's? Because it sounds like it's out of sight, out of mind.
So that in the matter, it is confidential or something that to budget ahead of time for each department is going to be a bit harder. But like what it can do, it's based on what we get charged, based on claims or
Yeah, like make it where that department has to pay for it.
right. So right now I do it by staffing, based on that staffing. So because some of the staffing do not hit the general fund, so whatever staffing goes or overcharge goes. So that's probably the best way I could do it is based on allocation based. So
And we could look into that.
Yeah.
We could definitely do like a statement to each department, letting them know the costs associated with the different investigations and things that we're doing.
you
And
can
then,
do a prorated amount based on actual claims and personnel, so it's a combination. We could definitely go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have some departments that are higher offenders than others, and, how do you nip it, right? I mean, you don't if it doesn't hit the department's budget.
right.
I would just say, just by way of a quick comment, you're going to see that throughout this budget. For example, public services houses our fleet and facilities group, and yet you'll see fuel in each department, right? And so there is, I don't know, maybe if the right way of calling it more art than science with some of this, but certainly what you're talking about is one of those things that we look at. My observation is that in discussions I have with the departments, particularly in the area of workers' comp, that we don't necessarily talk dollars and cents. It's more about getting the people back to work. But I certainly they are certainly aware that aside from the human factor associated with workers' comp, there's dollars and cents. And so in terms of the bookkeeping aspect, if it is, if we can manage it better that way, I'm certainly not adverse to having each department account for those numbers.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the investigations, right? Like those type of numbers.
Yeah, so the investigations, yeah, that arises occasionally in the context of workers' comp. They often arise in just human resources matter where we're trying to get to the bottom of a particular situation. So those as well, again, I think now human resources bears the brunt of that, but a lot of that also is perhaps better housed in the department generating the investigation. So we can certainly look at that and see. Because we're obviously part of the goal of all of this is transparency. And so oftentimes when I'm looking at the budget, I'll see a line item and I'll ask, well, what goes into that? And the answer I get is kind of, oh, I had no idea that
Yeah.
that phrase or a couple of words represents a broad range of things. And I'm thinking, well, I would think, the council might have same sort of questions about where is something, or what does it mean when we talk about a particular item? Because you're just getting a few words. And so staff is tasked at kind of pigeonholing things in a category. And so, we might need more categories to make it more transparent, but certainly you make a good point in terms of where things should be accounted for.
Yeah, and I do think there are other areas that we can look at for departments as far as even our testing services, our accommodations. Those are all things that we can take a look at. So
Thank you.
In addition to what Dennis said, the additional categories has been requested by departments in the past. I kind of denied them because we're doing the transition of DRP, so it's kind of hard to add and then transition over, and I don't have it. So once we're fully transitioned, that's we're gonna have a lot more room to grow, just on these simple line items and all that's growing by, instead of 1,000, we're gonna have 10,000. So
Yeah.
we'll have a little bit more leeway on that.
Yeah, no, yeah, for me, it's more like departmental accountability,
Yeah.
right? You get investigations, not always, but sometimes, bad supervisors not doing their job, et
It's hard to
cetera.
predict, yeah.
And it's hard to when it's
And that's
impacting your budget, then,
It's-
you're gonna go solve the problem. But if it's going out of Kristen's budget, you're gonna leave it to Kristen to solve.
Right, and I guess we can go retro 1 year based on previous year and go to the future, but it's gonna be hard to nail it, like, so
Yeah.
it's that's why it's kind of centralized. Moving along to general services. So general services doesn't have any major changes. It's basically expenses that go through all city hall departments. So that would be city hall budget. We're not there's no new allocation recommendations for any of these departments. Total budget for current fiscal year is 3.5, 21, and for next year is 3.8, 35. So, and that may increase with the new numbers for city attorney. Well, it should increase. Moving along. Police department. Police department didn't have any major changes for overall. The one thing that is incrementing is our communications, and that's dispatch. So there's no clear way of saying we're gonna get an increase. We don't have the actual number yet, but that's the estimate amount that it's gonna be increasing. We go department by department. We have police management services. Basically status quo. Like I said, once we finish up labor negotiations, that number would increase based on where we left. But, there's no major anything on all of, chief's departments. Next, we have police services.
Victor, real quick,
Yes.
on police management services, who
Yes.
falls under that? I know it's chief.
It's, chief, Max, and the sergeants.
Okay. No, okay, thank
So
you.
we have a total of 8 personnel there.
One is that, Robert?
Police management services.
Police management.
Would
210.
be Department 210.
How much percentage of the budget is for the police, our overall budget?
That is in the last PowerPoint.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So based on proposed as is, it's 26%.
Okay. Thank you. I was like, I know there's a pie grid, something down here
Yeah,
somewhere.
I know it, and it's kind of did it the same, but right now since we haven't finished it up, so I just want to do the initial. But yeah, it takes account 26%.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So moving along with PD, we have field services. The only thing major here is the maintenance of equipment that the cars keep breaking down on chief and his staff. So
Are they breaking down or are they wrecked?
One more time?
Are they broken down or are they wrecked?
No, that was an anomaly a year ago. Breaking down is our biggest problem. The CVT transmissions are pretty clockworky. About 60 to 65,000 miles, I need a new one. And it's industry wide with the Explorers.
other than that, for that department, everything is status quo. A little bit increase on travels, but we decreased it somewhere else. So I just can't remember where. And the other increase is fuel, obviously, with the prices and more cars. That's across the city. It's going to be projected a little bit higher. Not much, but just expectation. Next, we move to communications, Department 213. That's where would you see the increase that is noted there? It's just the dispatch contract. So
When will we get the dispatch contract number?
So they're still waiting for their class and comp and when everything goes into effect so they can do their calculations. So it could be anywhere from a couple of months to 6 months before we even have the initial conversations about the overall cost projections.
next, we have police records. And currently, you see police evidence. Oh, I don't know why it went 0. So there was a request just to change, to divvy up police records and evidence. So that's why you see 2 police. I didn't change the number on police evidence. But it's not incrementing the budget. It's just taking away from police records and putting it in another department. So together, it's going to be the same. It was just a little increment on a training for evidence. And I will be taking 1 personnel, which is Moises, to evidence. So right now, since it's not completed, that's why you see it blank up there on your screen, but I had some records in front of you. But it's basically the same department, just divvy up into.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So you go into overtime, we've budgeted, it looks like historically like 190,000, but then this year we're already at 230? Or no, that's the budget. No,
On
no.
field service?
No, that's forecast based on current trend.
Yeah, so if our current track is gonna be over by, 40,000.
We are short-staffed, so that's why the overtime's there. So we got a new police officer today, last week. We're getting one next month, chief.
But additionally, for that one, we get reimbursement from other cities. So it goes under overtime, but we get reimbursement. So that one is gonna be reflected on the revenue. We get reimbursement also from Sunrise, that we get.
Um, okay, one thing maybe we'll try to see if we can divide the overtime from the other agencies.
Or just if we just put revenues,
Yeah.
like if there's a line for, like where you can see the revenues for,
Like
and then where,
overtime's going out, but we
yeah,
have something
we
coming
have
in.
revenue.
Right, okay, yeah, and, you have it, I didn't put it in your packet, it's,
Still on this one.
we have 96,000 projections for, overtime from Stone Garden,
How much?
96,000
Revenue.
revenue, coming back.
Are we getting anything from any of the other ones?
We get some from OTS, ICAC, and I don't know that OSADEP exists anymore, but we were getting it previously.
Yes, the OTS, we got, not much this year, but we did get some. OTS, I just,
Nothing from Best?
One more time?
Best?
We do not have an officer assigned to Best.
So since we're on this number thing, I'm looking at an increase within all the departments of special department supplies of $21,150 from various departments. What does that constitute that we're buying all these special supplies when our armory's up, all of our other stuff is up?
we, under police,
It's under police, management, police field services, it's their, 5330. Each one has had increase. Not a lot, but it's still within all the departments.
so the 5330, I think that's where you purchase your, ammo.
Correct.
So
Would that
those,
be armory?
So special departmental supplies is in addition to armory. Armory is its own, I believe it's its own special fund, because you have to account for the increase in costs in precious metals and common metals, brass, lead, copper, all of those are skyrocketing because of the global environment. I believe we based it on a percentage increase
Okay.
to arrive at that number in anticipation of prices continuing to go up.
yeah, I don't have armory,
Armory it actually went up, 2,000.
2,500, and I don't have army under 210, so,
You have armory under, 5321.
yes, but only on department
Only on the
211,
field.
Yeah, you only have it on field.
on field services.
So are those
They
the same,
cover everybody.
are those the same, like what's the difference between armory supplies? Cause it's only in the field services, it's not in the management services.
Yeah,
Right. So
Are they
Covering
the same
everybody.
thing or?
I'll look into that one, I don't have detail
I'm looking
or
at that,
exactly
we're looking
what's
at-
going on the 210 side.
What, you said armory was under 5321?
It's almost $40,000 within, supplies of that.
There's a 5321 and then there's the special department supplies.
5330.
So we have 5330, which is special department supplies.
Yeah.
Across 210
Oh, there it is.
to 11.
And right above.
Yeah, all departments have that, sometimes they don't fit within one line item and they just put them there. Based on their department, obviously, but not,
So what's the difference in the
In armory.
special department supplies for the police management and then for police field services?
And evidence.
And then evidence. And then,
Special department supply, they usually use that one for something that doesn't fit, it's not office supplies, it's not something that goes in the other one, but it's a specific 210 for sergeant, chief, or captain, 211 for the police officer, 215 for every, so it depends on each one of the departments, but it's something that it doesn't other one. We can give you a printout of all the expenses, we have that one, that way you can see it. But it's something that doesn't fit on the other category, that they put it that one, and every department has it, that one, because there's some expenses that don't apply in office supplies, they have to put it somewhere else, we don't have something for each specific. But we can provide you a printout of all the expenses.
I'll give a breakdown on those. Honestly, I don't know by memory, so what we put in there, but, I would definitely, look into all the special department supplies.
Let me ask just a real quick question to, like, try to clarify myself. So let's say, one of our officers comes up and says, hey, I need a box of widgets or whatever it is. He doesn't have special department supplies. Can he purchase it out of police management services?
No.
That's where I'm at. Because now we have chief, captain, and 4 sergeants,
6.
6 sergeants?
Yes.
With a budget of 15,750, but then we have field services, which is all of our field, excuse me, all of our field guys with $1,400.
And evidence with 1,000.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Seems fair.
that's kind of where I'm seeing.
Okay. So I'll definitely meet with Chief and Max and see if, depending on what we're buying, if it could be more.
So, if
directed
I
to
may
the
clarify
executive.
real quick, special department supplies, pepper spray helmets, shields, stocks for weapon replacement, those are all outside of the Army. Those are special department supplies. They don't fall on the individual employee to purchase and keep them themselves, but we keep them for purchase as well.
And we don't replace those every year, do we?
Pepper spray we do.
We do, correct. But what are we looking at? $50 a bottle?
That I don't know.
Yeah. But we're not replacing shields, all that other stuff every single year. Where we're looking at, last year's budget was budgeted for 15,000. We go up this year, and I don't know how we're gonna buy more shields. If I remember right, the last pieces of equipment that we got were shields, helmets, and all that stuff was given to us through Best, one of the task forces. They purchased it all for a total of $88,000. What was given to us. So I think my question is, how often are we replacing this, that we need to keep budgeting this $15,000 and increasing every single year?
So it's used for quite a few things. So if we were to host training and there were facilities and maintenance costs associated with that, it's basically the catch-all for us for our budget that deals with both regular and recurring and incidentals. They come up periodically without being able to forecast helmet, shields, shoelaces, and whatnot.
Yeah, and every single one.
No, I'm even worse. I missed one. This is more.
40,000.
No, this is 50-something thousand. I missed the original 15,750, and this one's 17,250. So we're looking at close to 60,000. Okay.
And HR is 40.
Every department has something.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
not
no.
every.
Somewhere 1,000.
And I'm not picking on
Well,
you, Chief.
most departments have a special department line item, and like I said, that's a line item that, for example, for HR, it goes things going to employee appreciation and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
we can get a breakdown on that.
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to stop the rhythm.
No, that's fine. That's what we're here for. Yeah. Then I think I left out on police records. So like I said, this is gonna be whatever budget we're gonna remove on evidence is gonna be coming out of records. So, and as well as one allocation for Moses, right, Chief?
Correct.
Right. Then finally for PD, we have animal control. There's no glaring change there.
Is the yeah, never mind. I was gonna say it's the reason that it's significantly lower, but it's because that position wasn't filled. For a
Yeah,
while.
it was half year. So, all in all, for police services, all departments are, current fiscal year is 5.188 for the budget. Projection of expenditures, coming in at 5,043,000. Next year's proposed budget is 5263, 5.263. And I'll, get the breakdown for all special departments, for all departments. Moving along, this is, pretty much self-explanatory. This is the contract, for fire department, plus the annual payment of the fire truck. So for that, we did get a preliminary, contract amount, and adding the fire truck, that will be the new number for this, fiscal year. This fiscal year, we're a little bit lower than what we projected and what we have been built. So hopefully that's the case for next year.
Is there a reason why it's under?
That's the invoices, how they're coming in. They're not the same. They're not the same number every month.
Do we have like a same amount? Why are they not the same number every month?
Some of, maintenance, things that are being charged there. So those are things that are being cleared in the new contract.
But don't we? Okay, this is my. I'm not surprised that the invoices are different prices every month. I've seen how the county issues property taxes, payments. But we don't have like a set yearly contract amount.
Like X amount for
We have
maintenance,
the
X amount
contract,
for,
we have the amount, but we don't have the contract. So it's not like
So
they're
it-
referring.
We don't have like a contract for a few years. Is it year to year? Like how is it?
Right now it's expired, and so I'm a little surprised at these numbers, because it was my understanding the county was gonna come back and hit us with
It's
much,
been expired
much
for quite a
higher
while.
numbers. And they're trying to update it,
Yes.
and so, yeah. We're operating under the terms of the older contract.
Correct.
Which is beneficial. There is some room for additional expenses in there. I think Tommy's got probably some more insight on it.
Yeah, well, these amounts were the quotes that the chief gave us. So right now, we're working on contract language, but these quotes should be accurate as to what they quoted us for the new
But we
contract.
shouldn't be exceeding what the numbers are, the total
but-
contract.
Correct.
Correct, as a total, but, again, their contracts, which they like to do a lot, is not to exceed amounts, so it kind of fluctuates month to month on some of those things
Okay.
like maintenance and other
That-
things that the chief, Victor discussed.
Going on this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
was
makes
gonna say,
sense. I
like-
was like, is there?
I guess I'm surprised.
So they get. Oh, sorry, go.
Well, because if the county is budgeting 45,000 for their increase in the, the
Yes.
911 calls, I'm surprised there's no change to this. It's great.
Well, the other part too is, because the fire contract's a little different, and there's a clause on contract negotiations with employees would create an amendment to the contract, of the city, and that the city would, they would adjust that for our contract.
Correct. And how we worked it last year, like, talking to chief, that he's been working on the contract for a while now. He basically mentioned let's just that 10%, and we'll not go over that because he's,
Lock it in.
having, not having too much success in putting out that contract. So,
Getting the language.
I don't know if within the county, but we have a language, but I don't know if it's gonna be approved or not, so we just have a tentative, contract. It's still tentative, the one that you sent me?
Well,
We're not even.
yeah, we've got a very outdated contract, and so that's what they're supposed to be
Contract
working
should be
on.
4 years old.
Right, to update.
At least, I
Any,
think
well,
more.
the contract's expired, but it was just changing the dates, for several contracts now, probably 3 or 4 going back. So the language is very outdated, and so that's one thing and I think we just got
Yeah.
contacted by county council.
Yeah, county council is going through, especially I think with the purchase of our fire truck, the county is interested and we are interested in identifying what products exist, because the inventory of all their tools is old. And so we told them, all right, tell us what you've got. We'll look and check and then we'll work through that. So I think they are trying very hard on their end to sort out, all right, where did this tool go 10 years ago? You know, so we should have an updated inventory list on all the smaller things, what's ours, what's the county's and what's shared, and then the contract itself. But if the chief's giving you an estimate, that's
Yeah.
good. But we do need to get a new contract.
Yeah, he provided us a quote already, so we're just working on language and that should be coming to you here pretty soon.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. I was thinking, I was like, why is it different every month? But if there's a not to exceed, so the staff, the actual charge for the services is the same, it's everything.
Correct. Yeah. Moving along, we go into public services. We have public management, street maintenance, storm drains, CHOP, and buildings and grounds here. There's no major budget increases nor recommendations for new staff. Going through Department 300, Public Services Management, budgeting the same amount as last year. This is basically salaries of the management and director, which is currently vacant. So that's why it's significantly lower than budgeted. Any questions on 310? All right,
On which one?
310.
Put on 320.
320, streets. The ones that I noted down is, I think you have highlighted, vehicle lease, which is the current leases under street maintenance. Special departments, it went from 85 to 60, it went the other way. And equipment other, 60,000, that's the major downgrade there.
What about 5210? What's the change in 5210?
5210, contract services.
Positive change, but
Yes, I have it here.
So that one we had a reduction in the overall contract because we ended up canceling the services for the weed abatement. So we did have, I said we had a change in the 5210 for contract because we canceled services for weed abatement. We originally had them, but we removed them and our services are
Now
doing it
we're
now
doing it
in-house. Yes.
Also for, right there is gonna be the sidewalk. So the sidewalk, since it's not, foreseeable of us doing it, the budget, if it's okay, we'll probably come back Q1. I know we already went out and got estimates, but since it's not a must do, that's why you see that drop off there.
No, I appreciate it.
And I didn't highlight it. Any other questions for street?
the other equipment, we're gonna be fine. I know that's a big drop.
Excuse me?
On, 5442. 185 to
Right, and for there, I think you provided me a detail on that one, right? Shop, streets. I can barely see it, but, I don't have the detail for that line item. But it's mostly talking to, what we're gonna be expressing to spend there, instead of like what was actually forecasted.
making sure it's not equipment that's gonna be needed for something and it's not budgeted.
No, and we looked at what we have already in terms of supplies and equipment that we have in-house, and we're fairly set now, and so that's why you see a big drop in the overall. What we did need to purchase was purchased within this fiscal year, so we're gonna make sure to maintain what we have, so we're not having to spend extra, and that's why we have the drop. We have just, I know Victor doesn't like the cushion word, but we still wanted funds in that, so in case something does go down, or we have the situation happen, the way our PCMS board got taken out by someone, we have at least funds in there to replace what we have.
Thank you.
Moving along, storm drains, pretty much self-explanatory. Small ID bill and the publications, that we do for,
So we have the publications, and that's what we owe, State Water Resource Control Board for our stormwater permitting, and it's usually 11 to 12,000 annually.
And the utilities is the pumps.
Yeah, just the electrical, and then the maintenance of equipment, it did drop down from 15 to 10, and then just so you guys know, that equipment is just the sub pumps that we have in some of the drains, the submersible pumps, if they go out, we have to replace them.
moving along to shop. The only difference right there, the major difference is the contract services. That's the Flidio moving from, originally last year was, budgeted under buildings and grounds. So it's gonna be under shop, where it should be.
And then we do have a slight increase in that overall cost to Fleetio because we have more assets now in Fleetio, and every time you have more, the increase goes up. So we're sitting at about 125, so it upped our annual fee. So that's why you see an increase, and if we add more, we'll end up with another expense to that.
Any other questions for shop?
No.
Okay. And lastly, on public services, we have buildings and grounds. Again, the major difference here is is downward, basically, on, maintenance of equipment. And we are on the improvements, that's still, we're not expecting to build out everything. That depends if we are gonna move forward, and structuring the city hall or senior center and our EOC for new offices. So if we do move forward, that would cover that amount. And I know the other services have, a little bit of, upgrades that need, like, the one that I remember is Amber, like library. It's about 8,000 to fix out, minor things, whole bunch of minor things. So all buildings and grounds, all, expenses should go through buildings and ground. For buildings,
And the ground.
obviously for buildings, not for other departments, that's what I'm trying to say.
What was the one-time, 5262? I know it's a small amount, but was it just one-time testing?
52,
Uh,
The 3,000?
That was what we had utilized when we did lead and asbestos testing.
Okay.
So we had pulled it out of that department, that budget.
We're not anticipating again having?
No, we already have the lead and asbestos testing done for our facilities, and if we have any more coming up, we're gonna make sure it's within that department.
Okay.
correct, and, we didn't budget for it because it was unexpected, but, like Jenna said, we weren't expecting for next year, so that's why it's at 0. So overall, for public services, current fiscal year is, budget is at 3,021,000, forecasted based on, trend. 2.278, 2.278. I have it here. And forecast, projected, proposed is 2.6 for next year, which is more in line to our forecast. Next, we have community development. For community development, it includes, community development, the code enforcement, engineering, and building and safety. There's no, increase in allocation recommendations, nor any major budget increases. Our current, budget for this fiscal year is 1.486, and for next year is 1.485. So basically, it's gonna be status quo, maybe moving some monies around, but there's no major changes in, Oton's department.
How many vehicles do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4,
4?
5.
Your fuel's
I
only
had 7,
300?
yes, but no,
And-
it's 5.
I know it's not a big number, and you only have $300 for fuel,
On community development.
vehicle fuel.
That is correct. Yes, we want to keep it as that. I mean, we usually don't use it as much. That's usually my gas card, so I usually ride with the guys. But just every once in a while, I have staff going to the county and whatnot. But it's
No.
just
It's like your reimbursement. Is it like? What is
Yeah,
it?
not even, it's just, in case we really need it, honestly, for that department, we usually don't need that much.
You know?
On the other ones, there's an increase on those, and
Okay.
you'll see that.
I'm like, that's a little amount. That's like 1 month for me almost.
Well, it depends who's using the cards. That's why how we allocate it. That's why it's like super low and
Okay,
So I guess
makes
you-
sense,
yeah.
because all your fuel is.
it's in other
There it is.
departments, correct?
I found it.
Code enforcement, gotcha.
Court enforcement engineering will have most of the.
Guess you've been
the
using Tony's polarity. Don't tell him.
No, those use a lot more fuel.
This is, yeah.
So, I don't have the inventory for the vehicles, but yeah, like, the vehicles is actually divided like for who actually uses them or what department, who uses the actual cards or the cal cards. So, that's
And
why,
these are leases are still going through enterprise?
yes.
Oh, speaking of.
Is that still
that's
feasible
another
for us?
conversation.
The leases? So right now, we have some leases that we had last year. We have like a big down payment, and it's gonna be ours in a year. So, but actually, as leases, those are the ones that we already had.
Okay.
Because last year's, we only purchased, for community developments, we didn't purchase any vehicles. It was more, existing leases.
Yeah, we had purchased 5 vehicles for this last time, and it came out feasible to do the leases, especially with water and wastewater, because as Victor mentioned, the large down payment, and we owe them soon. And then we're able to get the better price with the other ones that we purchased, because so you guys know, we took off the maintenance program on them, which was costing us a little more. And I made sure with Enterprise that if we removed that and did maintenance ourselves, it doesn't void, of course, a factory warranty to the vehicle. So we reduced some of those prices and was able to go with the leases. That's more feasible for city to get them in the fleet.
So for code enforcement, like I said, no major changes in any of those, departments. Next we have 310 engineering, which is basically status quo, actually a little bit $3,000 less,
For
But-
engineering,
for engineering.
it looks like it's $100,000 more.
For engineering, the current fiscal year budget is 512 and proposed is 509.
Which line item are you looking at?
It'd be Department 310.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Oh, no, that's yeah, salaries are going up by 100,000. So
Salaries are budgeted the same amount. Plus, we do have some vacancies there. That's why so the first column is last year's
Yeah.
numbers, then the budget, then up to date, all the expenses up to April 30th. And then the total you see, it's a forecast or best guesstimate of where we're heading and the budget.
You're right. My bad.
No problem. So, but yeah, salaries are going up across the board.
Oh, yeah.
So. And lastly, for community development, we have building and safety, which is basically, again, it's $500 less than previous year. No major, no significant changes. Did you actually look at them, Anton, or?
Very carefully.
So,
I'm being very conservative.
okay. And I asked all that the expectation is just keep a status quo. For public services and community development specifically, we do have a lot of salary savings there because we have a lot of vacancies, that still open and were unfilled half the year or became unfilled, so became vacant, sorry. Next, we have, library. Library, the allocation recommendations are 2 lunch in the intern, lunch at the library entrance, which would be, huh? Okay, so it's only gonna be 1 lunch in the library intern, and it's grant funded. So So there's no cost to the general fund. Other than that, actually, Amber is giving me a little bit of savings from 917,000 to 901. Like I said, there's no major changes to note. M&O improvement, actually, the M&O improvements are gonna go through buildings and grounds, so that's why it's highlighted under that amount. So that should be even, so that should be a zero.
I'll just mention if any of you are looking at some amounts that are significantly lower or significantly higher within some of these. Staff took time to evaluate all our resources and see what was being highly utilized and what wasn't. So we were able to cancel some services. And then in addition to that, we identified moving some items to a more correct line items such as toner, pulling that from equipment to office supplies.
Okay.
So it all balances out.
Now, I know this is not a big number, but Amber, your custodial supplies, doesn't that go through buildings and grounds? Or hers are different?
They're just, we cover the core items for the buildings and grounds in terms of all the custodial supplies. That's just if they need anything extra, and Amber, correct me if I'm wrong, just in case, if like tissues, if they do right now, are just the smaller items, but we cover the bulk under buildings. So I think from my understanding, each department has its own custodial in a small amount, just in case it's something that's not being supplied excessively.
And then with the $2,000 for the custodial supplies for the library, since we're open to the public and we have a lot of high touch areas, we're constantly cleaning and spraying down everything.
I get it. Especially when my grandkids go there, they touch everything.
Oh, it's gonna be clean. If they,
Don't worry.
moving along, we have Parks and Rec. Here we do have allocation recommendation. It's actually adding a Parks and Rec supervisor, but unfunding a Parks and Maintenance coordinator and a park maintenance worker. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be like salary savings saying, but it's gonna be less money on the salary. So we're switching 2 for 1. Maybe around 80% savings.
So I have a question. For your health insurance in lieu of, it looks like your budget, so this year, it looks like our projected total is gonna be just over 25. But we're using the same budget as 14.4,
So any
so I don't think our budget's high enough.
any numbers that has to do with salaries are not moved until I have final numbers, including
Okay,
health and all that. And that is budgeted based on the time that what employees we have there,
yeah,
who's getting insurance, because I open based on open enrollment. So once we get open enrollment, I do those. But if I know parks change around with our water and wastewater employees, so if they come in and they have insurance instead of the new payments, but the actual budget stays the same.
okay.
But anything from anyone and any number from the 51s, hundreds are the same. So those are not moved because those are impacted by the salaries and based on the employee and open enrollment. So any of those numbers, any numbers on the 5100s is going to be the same number as last year for right now.
Cause we got the real, yeah, okay.
So for parks, the two, that's the recommendation on the allocations. And we're actually decreasing maintenance of equipment from 100 to 80,000. And travel and meetings from 14 to 5,000. Even though we did use it last year, but based on Tony's projections for next year, they're only gonna be using, requesting 5,000 for crowd meetings.
Okay.
So for parks, the current budget year, it's 1.8, the, 1.823, the proposed, requested budget is 1.67, 1.76, 1.767.
So,
Go ahead.
no, I always am like, is it a cost savings? Is it a cost savings to have our, the guys that do the maintenance on our parks, like the landscape park? Is it cheaper than going out to bid?
I think we already discussed that a
I think,
couple years
I
ago.
feel like this gets brought up every year, right? But
It depends where they go. But
It all depends on the scope of work. It really does. I think when we received proposals last on contract services, the decision was to go in-house versus out because of the cost. The cost was way higher to contract for the all-inclusive services, including the tree trimming and all that stuff. What drove the cost astronomical was the tree trimming services. The tree trimming services, it's higher at a higher rate to hire those specialized people to cut those trees. And what we were doing when we had contract services, where we were coming behind the contractor and doing that anyway. So, when we combined the scope of work to be all inclusive in one package, when we put the RFP out, it was considerably higher, to go out to contract. Now, we could always revisit that at any time. That's kind of flexible, to where as we grow, like as we add to like heritage and we go eastward and we start getting so big, we might have to look at those things where
Yeah.
it's not feasible to be in-house.
yeah, like I'm thinking like, okay, this is, just thinking out loud. Would it be a cost savings to have like somebody come in, contractor, just do the mow, blow and go?
Yeah.
And then have everybody else and our internal staff do everything else. You know what I mean?
It could be something we're potentially looking at in the future because we also now we're adding the median.
Uh-huh.
We're adding, I only see expansion going to the east. I don't even drive to the east side anymore because I'm looking at all these houses going up. All these green belts are gonna come in all the way to Dogwood. And then we're gonna get to that point where we're having that conversation with council on, what we can do with our current staff, never increase it and just go contract out for the rest. Do the mow and blow.
Mow, blow and go.
Mow, blow and go. And then the more specialized sort of work that costs the city more money, which is the tree trimming services, do that in-house with the staff we have. So it's a conversation that's coming pretty soon to your table.
Okay.
That I've already thinking about, just based on all the things, Othona's blessing me with, in the future. And, so it's a conversation we're gonna have soon.
Keep it up with them.
I like to see that you're more receptive to it now than in the previous years.
Yeah, and it only comes with growth. And we still don't have the park, the 2-3 acre park, all those parks that are being proposed by the Robin project over there towards, the regional park site. The regional park site, if a phase gets bits out in the next year or two, this is gonna drive those things where my staff now is focused on those areas, and then we contract the rest of it out. And it's inevitable at some point. It comes with the city's growth.
I've been reading about Highway 86. You're going to need one person just to pull the weeds and water.
Oh, yeah.
I've been reading.
I've been
A
reading
lot
the
of
comments,
intelligent
too,
people.
yeah. A lot of experts.
And then they replant all those plants.
So
Yeah.
like, if
The
you
things
guys
that are
look
dead
at
are the weeds.
the Parks and Rec maintenance budget overall, the maintenance reduced by 20,000, and that though a lot of I went through the line items specifically for the Parks and Rec maintenance operations division. I went through as many as we could. We reduced as much as we could. When Victor gets to rec, you've noticed that those it's specifically in one line item for 17,000 is because what we're gonna pay for the school. So the building rentals have gone up to that for per year, per season, from like 6 to 17,000. The 40,000, we don't know where our senior space, what we're gonna have to pay monthly. So that we will have to pay something. And that 40,000 will catch that monthly. And also what we're gonna have to do with the kitchen incubator once it's completed. I'm assuming I'm assuming at this point that my department will control the reservations and all those things related to those two spaces. So these accounts, I would like to project to stay where I'm gonna pay for that in the next year or two, because next meeting you'll have the Kitchen Incubator Design Services Award on your approval list. So we're moving forward on that project, projected to be completed hopefully by mid next year. All done, construction services, ready to go, opening. So these things are, I'm accounting for them being under my budget. So I wanted to keep rec and utilizing those space for other things other than kitchen sort of things. But since the space by the donut shop burnt down, once we get this thing going, this will be the only approved kitchen that is used for our people that are doing that now. So it'll be a huge revenue grab. I'm projecting to bring into the city. So that's why you see those rec things staying kind of sort of the same.
You answered every question I was gonna ask. Bring up the kitchen. I'm like, when's that gonna be done?
Point is, we need more money.
Yeah. So, you know,
We definitely do.
the special events, we reduce, you know, 15,000 here, 5,000 there. The next step, if council so chooses, is to remove the smaller events by cost. You know, the smaller events, we can start there or wherever council chooses to, but like the Park in the Dark that's coming up is probably the one that costs us any money at all, if not the most, because autism really doesn't cost. And Trunk or Treat really doesn't cost us either. So if we need to cut more, which I'm in favor of because I know we're looking at other things for employees, the events would start at Park in the Dark would be X for next season, which would be an additional $12,000 to $15,000 plus other things.
So let me ask a question right now, since we're on this and talking about funding. I'm going back to the beginning, looking at police, looking at library, now looking at parks and recreation. Our cannabis CUP funding is zero on all of them.
We got no money.
So the request was to let it grow and do not spend from that money for next year for the department.
But we're still receiving.
Yes, they're almost up to date. We Diana checked on today. So the money that was in the rears back then, we did come up with an agreement, a signed agreement. So they're paying us 4,000 per week, and they have like 2 or 3 payments left.
I think I read something where cannabis taxes statewide
Increasing.
are decreasing.
Tremendously, right? I
Like-
mean, if you
Oh,
looked,
the revenue, yes.
Yeah, the revenue
Revenue.
significantly
Yeah.
decreased.
No, yes. No, their tax got increased, so that means our revenue got decreased. Based on once we started that conversation on the money they owe us, their projected sales 5 years ago was, not the projected, the actual sales was around 10 million. Right now, they're about 4.5, 5 million.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is you've seen a lot of them, like a lot of them are closing, and so
Yes.
it's like the government made it too high, so now you have all these
Yeah.
drug dealers.
Yeah,
Yes.
5 years ago, I think when it started, they reported 10 million in sales. I don't think they're going to reach 5 million this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast is
Right.
what it
And
seems
plus,
like.
they have more competition as well. But it's statewide.
Statewide.
It's statewide.
Yeah.
But the actual the spending side, since we don't have a lot of money, they're based on the talk with directors, is like, you know what, let it. We do have it.
Okay.
They're just not planning to spend any money on that. If they do, we'll probably come back at one of the quarter updates and we can see how much each department has.
Chief's got more pot dealers to get off the street now.
So I guess Tony covered all his departments in a nutshell. I don't know if you have any departments for Parks, any questions for Parks and Rec. Your recommendation for the allocation, do we want to do that, or how do you want to handle those? Huh?
You want me to go over it?
No, I don't know if you have any questions, but that's that's a request on the department side. It's not And based on the funding, based on that we are removing 2 funded positions currently to fund this one, it's not an increase. So that's why it's being recommended. So I don't know,
You gonna bring it back?
I think it's, honestly, I think it's fine. I kind of see Tony as a department head kind of struggling because it's
So,
just
so
kind of
let me,
him.
I'll give you an insight on what this position and why I consolidated it to be, one, recruitment was an issue, right? With the parks maintenance coordinator, I wanted to have a certain amount of certifications with it that I need to have, inspections performed on new developments coming in, new play structures and those sort of things, so they're compliant. This position essentially would, be acting in my place. So, they would control all aspects, maintenance operations, special events, and recreation, so that then I could focus on all those other things that capital projects, all those things that are, the outliers that we are supposed to do as department heads right now. For the last probably year or more, I've been, 5 in the morning to 5 p.m. So, and it's fine, it was a means to an end, but I think at this point, since we have the positions available to consolidate, I would recommend we move forward. However, if we can't for whatever reason, I'm happy to continue.
No, I mean, you're pretty much just, what I said.
You're
I'm
one
like,
man show.
I've seen you in the field,
Yeah.
like a lot more
You probably
than
should.
I feel like this is like when you need to be in the office, you'll have a field
I've
guy.
seen you at the
I've seen you,
lumberyard moving stuff.
yeah, you know what I mean? And so,
Not that you're exempt
Yeah.
from it, but it's just,
you're good at it,
it's like me
It's a
seeing
small town, it's
and-
everything and anything.
Janelle out there, lifting manhole covers and stuff like that. It just,
but yeah, no, I'm actually glad to see this position. It's something that I've thought you've needed.
If I can just add a little story, I drive around town and I saw Tony on the ground, on his knees. It looked like he was in
Crying.
a meter box or something.
Crying.
So I was gonna
After an event.
stop, and say hi, and I saw this geyser of water come out and hit him right in the face, so
Oh,
I just
Dennis
kept
is all like
driving.
this.
Dennis took a video and kept going.
Yeah, I wasn't quick on the draw with that. I was just,
Hey, Tony blush. He's brown like me.
But yeah, all that to say is everybody does see you out in the field, Tony. It might be the size thing.
You know what?
It's hard to miss.
It's very hard to miss, yes.
Okay, we have another meeting here at 6:30, so we need to
all right, moving
move
along.
forward.
then.
Good there.
There's no explanation for Department of Technology. It's,
Come on.
it's,
We spent 3 hours
I-
talking about the budget.
I tell Alex no increases, but like he says, we had to buy licenses, is a renewal year. So the major increase here is, the 60,000 K is for a 3-year renewal, so that expense hits next year. So that's something we won't see in the next 2 fiscal years after that, but that's the only major expense here. Alex did shift some monies around, from one, account line item to the other one. So from all his, IT division, current budget is at, for current fiscal year is 1.965. The expectation for the forecast this year is 1.8. Proposed budget is 1.7.
I would like to mention here that the items that we are adding to our budget are related to cybersecurity that are very important for us, but also we don't have any major improvement in terms of infrastructure since we got approved this fiscal year for the purchase of the new servers. So that account is a very low amount against what was for this current fiscal year. But I will stop for any question that you guys may have.
Or, if you wanna go line item by each line item department, like I mentioned, one department 143 from, 659, it goes to 641. The major change there was the, car that was purchased last year, or current year. So we don't expect buying more cars for IT.
Don't they have a fleet of race cars?
I'm sorry?
Don't you guys have a fleet of race cars?
That's part.
For next department, it's his support. There's no personnel here, but just the nitty gritty things that they do for the city. The fiber optics, that's the cost is going out to the IBTA.
Yes, IBTA.
IBTA. And the equipment that was dropped down from 186 to 40,000. I don't remember what.
Yeah, we have two projects. One of those, if I'm not mistaken here, is we're going to for 144 is the technology that I was talking about. Instead of is the time for renewing after 3 years, but instead of renewing for another 3 years, like a year by year, we're gonna pay in full the 3 years. That's what it is in that account.
Which
And
account?
yeah, that's what it is.
Alex, which one? He's at?
The 5253.
Yes, 52.
No. Yes, SAS, no? Software.
Okay, I see it.
But also in account 19, 144, 54, 42, there is 40,000. Last year was 186. And the two projects that we have there is a upgrade of a firewall at the police department. And the other one, we're going to be upgrading our cameras in this room. So that's the only two really projects that we have.
What about training and education? You have nothing in that. Do we have anything for training and education?
But remember, this account is the 144 is for the enterprise.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of training and other ones and education and traveling education. We do a lot of training in-house. We have a platform for training.
Not just for you, but for the entire city,
No,
right?
and then for the entire city. In terms of, we just have the platform for cybersecurity training. For other applications, we don't really have at this point. Maybe something to explore. For this fiscal year, we had to cut in different areas, but yeah, it's something to consider. Our needs as a city are very fixed depending on the department. For example, Oton department is pretty much, let's say, all about AutoCAD and nobody else uses. Everybody across the board will be Adobe Acrobat and Office 365 that we have. So that is probably training about Microsoft, the one that we can bring to everybody. And it's something to consider. But probably for this fiscal year, I'm not planning to do that.
Maybe that's something we can get through JPIA.
The JPIA trainings, for the most part, don't have like application training. It's more safety trainings, legal trainings and things like that. But we could, well, Alex and I can talk and see what we can find.
It can be in two flavors. It can be cloud-based, or it can be through, we can probably, and I need to reach out to them, but with ICOE, I know they very often have training available for their employees, and they before offer us to be part of it. So, but I mean, the problem is the use that we have for some technology is very basic, because, for example, our front counter for finance is just about using the ERP, let's say. For other departments, the knowledge that they have is enough to the day-to-day operations. The training will be probably for when you want to get more for the technology that you are paying, right? Like advanced use of Excel, Word, etc. But other than that, I don't want to say straightforward what we do, but we just have one request from one of the parks from parks to use a technology from Microsoft called Power AI or something like that. So, but it's just one in a universe of 160. So,
Thank you.
Moving along, cover GIS, actually going down from 359 requested current year to 317. Cybersecurity is going up, and that's where we have the 3-year license, 60,000 for the 3-year license. It's highlighted in yellow. That everything's remained the same. And finally, for broadband, it's actually going up down a little bit from 91,000 to 79,500. And it's a combination of contract and, utilities. So total for IT, we do have, like I mentioned, 1.9 to 1.6. It's less than, last year budget. And the other major, server that we were supposed to be getting next year, we got it. That was approved by council a couple weeks, a couple sessions ago. So it's going into this year's budget, which, we haven't paid, so.
We haven't received any news from Dell.
Okay,
So just some emails that the project is about to start, but nothing else.
okay. So, okay. So I may have to include it. So that may I have to include it in, depending, we're not gonna get it before the year end?
Yeah.
We were?
Yeah, the invoice, I think so.
Okay, so that may change, so, but that's, I wanted to point that out. So this is, the chart I meant, I presented earlier. This is all the departments, basically for general fund. And the difference from current fiscal year to next fiscal year is actually a little bit less, even though we're increasing a lot in the, attorneys and fees. So I'll revisit that number, and like I said, everything's gonna be updated once we have, a final determination with the negotiations. So we still have time. We move along real quick to, our enterprise funds. We have water. Current budget for water is 6.6 million 999,000. The current, the projected or the proposed budget is 5.5 million. For operations, we do have contract services are going up, and but equipment other is going way down. So that's kind of like a wash, and I do have the backup for all the contracts, that Janelle provided. In case you have any questions of what's going on into those contracts.
So, Victor, got a
Yes.
question for you on line item, 5280 on utilities, the electric.
5280, yes.
We're going down 50,000, but our rates are going up about 25%.
Yeah, I double checked that one, and that's basically on the invoices we have been receiving. And, the projections. I'll double check on that again.
That one's scary.
But yes, so currently up to, this is a little bit behind, a month behind, so we currently have 181,000 in the books. So projecting that out is around 220, so that's why it didn't make a whole lot of sense, so. And that's across the board on all our IID bills, on all our IID departments. You see like the actual budget from last year, for current year to next year. Either I projected too high last year,
Okay.
or current year. But I'm kind of more adjusting more to where we're at.
And then just kind of to add to that, so as we when we rehab 4th Street and we're projecting to rehab Joshua, 66 fixtures that are metal halide that are running 8 months, 10 months out of the year. Will drop. That's going to drop too for parks, and then hopefully if we get grant funded by IID again, that's 66 more fixtures is going to drop us again to LED solutions, and then 14th will be next. So then as we transition these old fields from those systems down to new LED systems, you're going to see utilities drop, even though rates are going up.
Any question on operations? For water, no? So the other department for water is distribution. We do have our, actually, sorry, we do have a recommendation there for allocations. It's gonna be one admin assistant. You see 0.5 is one, just divided between water and wastewater. So it's a full allocation. Currently, there's none, and there's no director, and so it's kind of the same in between Tony, but different more on the administrative side. And so one water meter distribution operator and one senior water treatment operator. And I do have the org charts to see, with those, recommendations, the water will kind of mirror, water and wastewater will kind of be mirror in the same structure.
So Victor, on that one, 5330, same thing, special department supplies jumps up a lot, about 25,000.
Those, I did have the same questions, and those are the meters that we are replacing.
The meters?
Yes. The actual,
So those are the actual water meters. Anytime they need to be replaced, we go and pull from in our inventory and we buy from Aquametrics. So we've had an increase also in the prices that they're selling the meters to us. And these are also the ones from with Oton's group. When the developers need the meters, we supply them, so it's out of our inventory. So we've been going through meters a whole lot more because we're also trying to get them to read our actual census program instead of us having to do manual reads.
and that's one question I never heard asked. What's aquametric? That'll be and that's why it's highlighted. It surprised me as well. So, for distribution, it's 1.3 for current fiscal year. Proposed is 1.273.
On distribution, I know you guys didn't bring it, but I want to point out that you do see an increase in the contract. We're on 5210, we go up from 16.5 to 30. And that's because we have advanced water treatment serving as our cross-control connection specialist right now because it is a state mandate for the cities to have that. So that's why you see that, because we're going to either carry it over or actually get a contract in place to have someone serving in that position as a consultant.
Good. All right. On the allocations, any questions? Good to go ahead and do that. I don't know if you want to see an org chart or you have an org. I don't think I provided an org chart.
You didn't. It's fine.
Okay.
But we're gonna get one?
It's fine, but you're getting one.
So Tommy's passing up org charts with changes for you. So the first page is library services. And so the first page will be our current org chart. And the second page, you'll see in blue the request for the additional lunch at the library intern lead, the seasonal position. On page 3, for Parks and Rec, you will see the current org chart, which shows in red vacant parks maintenance worker. There's 2 of them, and 1 parks maintenance coordinator. And on the 4th page, you'll see that those 2 positions are removed, and then the green position of Parks and Recreation Supervisor added. So that's what the department would look like if the position is approved. And then for Public Services, on the next page, you'll see the current org chart. And then on the following page after that, I think it's now page 6, you'll see the addition of the administrative assistant under the proposed org chart for the, this one is for fleets and facilities and streets. So that's the only position that would be added there. And like Victor said, that is going to be, that would be 50% underwater, 50% wastewater funded, with no impact to the general fund. And then on the next page, we have our water and wastewater current org charts. And on our final page, you'll see the additional positions being requested up top. So you'll see underwater, the senior water treatment plant operator and in blue, and then a water meter distribution operator in blue. And you'll notice that our wastewater treatment plant, we already have a senior wastewater treatment plant operator that was brought on during our classification implementation. And so the position for senior water treatment plant operator was also created at that time, but there was not a recommendation for that reclass. So we have the position job description, but with no allocation. So we want to now add that allocation to mirror the wastewater. The idea being as well that if this position is approved, we would open it internally, and then the funding, if an operator were to move into that position, we would not backfill that operator. So funding would be used from that operator that's vacant. And then our water meter distribution operator request is with the increase of housing and just the growth of the city, the distribution operators do have a pretty heavy workload, and a third water meter distribution operator would be very beneficial for us. If you have any questions about those positions, I'll ask Janelle to fill in the rest.
You did great, Kristen. Thank you.
No questions.
You're good.
All right. So finally, and if everything's okay, it's another pickup for supervisor?
For the water plant, yes.
Yes. Last year we purchased for waste, then this year's request is for water. And finally, wastewater plant, like I mentioned, right now in water, the other part of the admin assistant will be assisting the wastewater. As far as, overall budget for wastewater plant, current fiscal year is 5.4. Proposed is 5 million. It's more on the range that we're asking. The only highlights there I do is the increase in chemicals and the rate that we are going to be doing, and the maintenance of equipment. Even though right now we do have not projected to spend all, is still going up to 415, and that's depending of we do have works with the headworks, which is the major one. I see here.
Yeah, and we asked for an increase in that one just because of the kind of equipment that we have. It takes particular parts from the actual manufacturer, so they cost us a little bit more, and we have to go with a certain distributor. So we increased those, and we have had some failings in the operation, so just to have us covered.
That overall, like for wastewater, it would be less budget for next fiscal year, and that's basically it. Any questions for wastewater?
None. Any questions?
Any questions overall that we have missed in other departments or?
Just if we can get back on some of those.
Yes, I'll work on this on the request. And like I said, this is the initial. Once we do have the, I'll kind of cost out the new positions, and so we can have a more clear understanding that.
So we're adding 5 new positions this next year.
Correct. And we're adding 5, and we're on funding 2.
Correct.
But like I said, it's all depending on negotiations, where we end up, and I'll have a better number for you guys. Any questions? Appreciate your time. I know we had some scheduling conflict, but I want to get ahead of the curve. Right now it's again May, but any questions you may think of, let me know, and we'll work on it and present back the information.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
I appreciate your time, everybody. Thank you.
All right, let's call this meeting at 6:05.